greatest cultural extravaganza that one could imagine, from no less than David Bowie. But even Claudia Schiffer got in on this. Berlin is like being abroad in Germany. And ESMT Berlin, I think, captures that international experience as they bring in MBA students from all over the world and, of course, all over Germany. But why do you do what you do? Among my guests, this is a question that Rebecca Lodes answered. She says, I do what I do because I believe in the transformational impact of business education has on individuals and society. She was talking about students and alumni. And in this case, one of the achievements of a student who had just won the Financial Times Responsible Business Education Award. It's lovely to have you with us, Rebecca. You're the director of MBA Programs at ESMT. You've had a career in graduate management education with GMAC. Is that why you do what you do?
Oh, it completely is. And to be honest, the transformation story is because I personally benefited. So therefore, I actually had, before I did my MBA, I was at Amazon. I was kind of doing web development and managing the web dev team there. But I kind of reached a ceiling. It was when Amazon was not recruiting MBAs. And so I did my MBA, I came out and I ended up, my first job was leading a think tank looking at changes to European higher education and the impact on global markets. No one in their right mind would have been given this little nerd girl that kind of thing to do without me having gone through a rigorous program. And so therefore, that is why I saw the direct impact it had on me. And that's why I do what I do.
Well, we'll be talking about transformation with Jenny Kuchinken, who has is just completing this month the ESMT Berlin MBA program. She studied business at undergrad at the University of Mannheim with studies at Copenhagen Business School in Denmark, and had a very successful early career in marketing with Instafreight. Jenny, thank you for being with us. Has it been a transformational year?
Definitely. Yeah, it was an amazing journey, also an opportunity for like 1 year to just focus on yourself, learn as much as possible, build new connections. So that was definitely something special.
Great. Well, I gave an introduction to Berlin from Bowie and Schiffer, but I'm going to hand over to you, Rebecca, just with an introduction of ESMT Berlin and this sort of stellar rocket ship of the last 20 plus years, how it's arrived on the scene, both in Germany and in international business education. So tell us more about the school, its values, and what makes it such an exciting place.
We are young. So as you said, kind of, we've been around, we're actually 21 in 2023. So therefore, I think that our youth has a huge benefit. So we're the new kid on the block. We were founded by 25 German companies who effectively were looking at the Financial Times ranking of European business schools, and they did not see a single German school there. And it was there, this needs to change. Germany's an economic powerhouse. We know we have superlative education systems. Why are we not bringing these two things together? And so ESMT, with that kind of foundation, the entrepreneurial kind of bent has meant that we have changed and evolved and adapted. And it also means that I would say that we are not a usual business school. So our values, we really do believe that we are helping create the responsible leaders of tomorrow. And that's fundamentally important. In the full-time MBA, we are fantastic at bringing international talent to Germany. And that's something which German businesses are crying out for. I think all over the world, there are shortages of kind of like talented individuals who can bring fresh perspectives and help transform business. And it's really exciting to be part of that. The values of the school are community, curiosity, courage, and rigor. And you see that echoed throughout the entire program. So community, yes, we are one big community here, whether you are a student here, when you're an alumnus, when you're also working with us in other domains. We also kind of, the curiosity and courage is fundamentally important. And rigor, this is an academic institution. We are therefore rigorous. What we do is we take pride in what we do, and we look forward to kind of have you coming to join us on campus.
We talked about the location, but I mean, Berlin does have a very special place, politically, of course, culturally, but you mentioned that entrepreneurial dynamism in the heartland of the German economy.
Yeah, we are the startup hub of, I would say, arguably Europe. And so what we see is we have a very tight integration with our local entrepreneurial communities, which means that you will see that echoed in the full-time MBA program, but you will also see it echoed in other options that you could follow. We have an Entrepreneurship Valley Entrepreneurship Hub. You could join the Summer Entrepreneurship Program when you finish the program. We have just become the 12th global location of the Creative Destruction Lab. This is effectively something that was started by Rotman, which is looking at how we can work and support deep technology. So this is fundamental research and how you can help those individuals take something to market and build businesses. And that is something that our students will be able to get involved in. Unfortunately, Jenny was unable to take advantage of this option, but this is something that will be integrated into the program later this year during the final report phase. And also as we see as that develops, much closer integration as well. So it's really exciting.
Right. Well, exciting next steps for Jenny that she'll be sharing with us. And I'm sure if I asked her, she said, I do it all again, including the Creative Destruction Labs. Just a final question, Rebecca, because of course, it's an intensive one-year program, and you've already given a sense of all of the different opportunities that students can take. So it runs from the beginning of the year through a full calendar year rather than starting in September. In addition to all of those courses with Marcel and the rest of the team, there's a tremendous amount of guidance and support that accompanies students throughout this process.
Yes, so it's actually a 15-month program. And so this is something that we recently extended. It's by a month. And that was really, and kind of talking about Marcel in terms of the career support, is that there are now opportunities for students to undertake an internship. So this wasn't available before. So the program, 15 months, core, we then have our 3 specialization tracks, and these build upon our ESMT strengths in analytics, in innovation, and in leadership. So really echoing where we are and who we are. Then there's electives, then the summer period, you can basically either go on internship. You can also choose to do a social impact project. So this touches on the fact that responsible leadership is at our core. Or you can do intensive German. And that is really reflecting again, where we are. Yes, you can get by without German if you're living in Berlin, but if you're looking to work in in other German cities, you will need it, and so therefore we encourage it.
Right.
Then we have electives.
Sorry, go ahead.
Then we have our elective period, and that's also an opportunity. You can now go on international exchange. So these are some of the changes we've made, and then the final project. Now, woven throughout that entire program is our students receive coaching, so they have access to career coaches. They'll obviously be working with Marcel and Sophie in terms of, okay, how can we make certain that we're helping understand what you want and how you can shape your career, and also helping you define that and then match to it and then secure that internship place and also secure that post-MBA job.
Well, you made me excited for the program already. Jenny, you've lived the experience. And I suppose if we go back in time, you were enjoying this early stage of your career. You had that marketing focus for logistics and supply chain around Europe and the rest of the world. So talk us through the idea of why business school, and then how you thought about choosing the right program for you.
Yeah, so in general, I wanted to have like a higher education that I had with my bachelor's, but I also really enjoyed gaining the professional experience and also knowing a bit more of in which direction do I want to go. And then having worked for a couple of years, I really found it super exciting to just take this 1 year off, invest in me, build new friends, learn new things. So this was the reason I decided to do that. And then why ESMT? So as you said before, this is like speaking from my heart. Berlin is like being abroad in Germany, and that was exactly the case for me. So I worked in Berlin before, with not like so much of international experience. Of course, there were some like expats in my company, but I really wanted to have like more international exposure. And that's why I really liked what I really liked about ESMT. So my class is so international, like there's students from all over the world. I'm actually like the only German, so for me it's really like being abroad while being in Berlin. And second, ESMT has a great reputation. So being the #1 business school in Germany within such a short time frame, I think that is very impressive. And then I think I'm on the top 10 in Europe. So that also definitely played a role in choosing the school. And then finally like location Berlin. Just Berlin is such a cool city to live in. So I was very happy that I could stay here and experience all the things that Berlin has to offer. And also I have to say that I really got like the personal fit. So whenever I interacted with someone from ESMT staff, like the admissions team, but also alumni that I contacted before my MBA, I really got like this warm feeling and felt that I have the same values with like the other people here.
Right. You use a very interesting expression at the beginning. You talked about investing in yourself, and we can all do the Excel spreadsheet that looks at, post MBA salaries and the financial ROI. But as you reflect on your MBA program, what are those other aspects that it's given in terms of self-confidence, in terms of that international mindset and this extraordinary network of such supportive individuals? And that's a wonderful way to invest in yourself.
I mean, it's of course like all the things that you learn, like in classes. In general, I have to say that ESMT has great classes, great professors. They have a really engaging teaching style. So I was very positively surprised by that. I remember the first weeks I came home every day wanting to tell my boyfriend, like, guess what I learned today? It was really like, wow, so much new, and I really needed to share that. So like really the knowledge that I learned, and looking at everything from a management perspective, that's what I really enjoyed in all the classes. But then also like the personal development. I feel like I really like grew older, but not because of the stress, but just like more mature with all the group work, learning so many new people, having the career coaching. This like, yeah, so I really feel that this 1 year has really made a career advancement for me, because I'm now much more self-confident, but also more reflective. So yeah, 1 year, it's impressive now speaking about it that it's only been 1 year, but so much has happened.
So it's breaking down that year, both in terms of the learning and the classroom, great professors, there's what group work and individual work, but outside of the class with such a dynamic group, presumably lots of clubs and activities that also then reinforce those connections, but give you additional skills, ideas, and things that you can pursue.
Yes, and in general, like Berlin has just so much to offer, and then you have a bunch of new friends that you want to make cool memories with. So yeah, first Berlin, so much to experience. Then also Berlin being in the center of Europe. Within 1 or 2 hours, you're in a completely new country, new nature, new culture. So I think that is super cool. And then all the clubs that ESMT has to offer, may it be like marketing or sports or like anything. So yeah, life definitely doesn't get boring here. It's quite the opposite. So you want to do so much, and you really have to prioritize and decide what you can really do.
Right. Rebecca, we only get to do the MBA once, and so we know the school where we did that MBA, but with the leadership role that you had in graduate management education for over 10 years, you knew everything about business education and the landscape. So, in the last 2 years at ESMT, and as you look at the school, what do you see as the real key differentiators for ESMT Berlin?
For me, it's the fact that we genuinely care. Our students they are a name, they are not a number. We are a small school, and actually that's something that we celebrate. So we have kind of like strong connections with our students, strong connection with alumni, strong connections with where we are. I also admired ESMT from afar before I joined, specifically because it was an entrepreneurial, agile institution that does things slightly differently than, say, potentially more of a traditional business school. And I think that's exciting. As Jenny said, we have really good faculty, and our faculty care as well. I mean, it's been such a delight and a pleasure actually working with our faculty here. And I've heard stories from other colleagues about kind of difficult relationships, and yet the folks that we have here, it's really good. So I think it's the fact that we are united in what we do. We share this vision, everyone cares, and we try to ensure that our students have a really excellent experience, and also that we are helping equip them for the future, not just their first post-MBA job, but also the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth.
Right. And you mentioned at the beginning the initial 25 founding companies, and I think that list has continued to grow. It's not just any list. I mean, this is like, the Fortune 500 of Germany with big names from banking and industry, automobiles, logistics, everything. But it mixes with this very entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's the beauty in a certain sense, because it's not either or, it's and. So we've got kind of, more potential kind of traditional industry, but then you've also got this entrepreneurial bent. And entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily just have to mean startups. You also have to think about, these are global companies. They are facing global challenges. They need to rethink how they're doing things, digital transformation, talking, so like Instafreight, looking at supply chains, looking at circular economy, sustainability, responsible leadership. What does leadership mean in the current age? So I think that that's what makes it. So you genuinely get a perspective that isn't monodimensional. You have a multivariate perspective on what does business mean from these startup, from the scale up, from the established business.
In terms of timing, because ESMT also has exciting early career masters in management, there are exec ed programs, but the young professional that's already had those initial years of experience, they'll be bringing all of that to the classroom discussions, but it's still a big decision, big investment in yourself, as Jenny described earlier. So, Rebecca, what advice do you give any young professional thinking about business school, and perhaps how their passions, their interests, their future goals and ambitions, hopes and dreams can then, find the right program for them?
I think that you can do kind of like desk research. And so first of all is kind of, okay, what do I want? What am I looking for? What would I like the outcome to be? And that could be, okay, if you'll say, so I really would like a career in X, Y, or Z, then fine. Or I want to start up my own business. So thinking about, okay, what do I want? And also, what will I bring? Because, you only get out as much as you put in. And this is very much a kind of a co-created experience. I think this is something that's often not less talked about in terms of MBA education, is that you are learning from the faculty members, but you're learning from the other students in your program, which is why fit is so important and why fit is so difficult to evaluate if you're doing just desk research. So understand what you want, then start talking to schools and talking to not just to the admissions folks, but say, can I be put into contact with alumni? What about student ambassadors? Because that way you are getting more of a broad perspective and getting an understanding of the institution. And then when it comes to looking at things like, okay, thinking about where do I want to work afterwards? If you've got your heart set on kind of like the New York Financial Center, coming to ESMT is really not the best decision for you. So this is also to kind of like putting your decisions in the context of, okay, what are the implications for the school that I may consider, and where do I want to go, and what's going to benefit my career? Because ultimately you are investing in this on a personal level. You're investing time, psychological, and money. You're also investing kind of like thinking about my career, where am I going to get benefit? I would love to say that students do this just because we're investing in ourselves because we're expecting to see a return, and it's really important to be honest with yourself about what you would like that return to be, and also how you want to make certain that you're getting there and what kind of journey you want along the way, and so which business school partner is the best one for you.
And as we think about that path, Jenny, and as you were applying to business school, well, maybe my career will go in this direction. You've lived through this year. What comes next? What's the new exciting adventure for you?
I'm currently in the interview phase, so I'm also very excited because it could be everything. I'm definitely looking in like startups or like grown-up startups. So I think ESMT has well prepared me for that. Also with because I chose the innovation track, so I learned a lot about innovation in corporates, but also how to develop a startup idea from scratch. So I'm currently in the interview phase, catching up with the companies that we have visited during our career support from career services. So we've been to Munich, to Berlin, and then also putting into practice all the things I've learned in the career coaching. So Rebecca mentioned it earlier. So this is also something that I really, really enjoyed, getting career coaching for free. It's so great. So there were 5 sessions, and that also really helped me develop in this year.
So on top of the innovation track for the world of startups, with the coaching, I'm sure you nailed those interviews and we'll get lots of offers next. So maybe this question I should ask to your partner who had you coming home saying, oh, do you know what I learned in class today? Or this was really an amazing experience. But as you reflect on that last year, 15 months, what really stands out? Memorable, perhaps unexpected, but hallmarks of the experience that you've had at ESMT.
I mean, there were like several highlights, as you described, like these mind-blowing things that you've learned in class. But what I really enjoyed was in the innovation track, the startup challenge, where we were tasked to develop this own startup idea with a group of people. So that was super cool to build something from scratch, and yeah, put also all the knowledge that we had from the other classes, marketing, finance, writing a business plan. So that was really cool. Then second, the consulting project. So this is the most recent one. It's also quite extensive. But yeah, also putting everything into practice that we have learned, working on a real problem with a real client, and then also receiving this positive feedback from the client and how much we've helped them, and that they will now like start executing the strategy. So that was a super cool experience. And then also I made like one trip with some students to Mallorca, which was quite fun. And just in general, like all these friendships that have been built during this year, I think like they're just invaluable.
I asked for memorable, you gave me mind-blowing, and Mallorca. So bearing in mind our audience is in that phase where you were perhaps a couple of years ago, business school, the MBA is the right next step. What would be your advice to anyone that's considering the MBA and ESMT in particular?
I think it's just like a great opportunity to invest in yourself. So I really mean that. So when else do you have the opportunity to just focus on you and just on the experience you can make without any responsibilities for anyone else? So I think that is really a gift. So enjoy that time, and also don't be shy to try out something new, like a new area, new industry. So this is really also the opportunity for change.
It really is a gift, Rebecca. So just talking to both of you the last 25 minutes, wishing I was 27 and packing my suitcase for Berlin. How can I get in touch with you, with your colleagues at ESMT, info sessions? I'm sure the website has a lot of great guidance.
The best contact is actually admissions-degrees@esmt.org, or just go to our website, esmt.berlin, esmt.org, find us, reach out to us. We really do enjoy speaking to candidates, irrespective of whether you ultimately decide to apply to us or not. It's lovely to have the conversation and to understand and learn a little bit more about you and how we can help you achieve what you would like to achieve in your business education.
Well, both of you with the enthusiasm that you've brought with this, I'm sure many people will be reaching out. Jenny, good luck with next steps. I look forward to following those adventures. Rebecca, it's always lovely to see your passion for business education, and of course how that's captured at ESMT. Thank you both of you very much indeed.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.